Yes.
Yeah, grab the cookies. Hey, real fast, I just wanted to see we are done with the shipping. It's Megan here. They're doing like some last minute packings for funsies boxes. So if I needed to go first, I totally can.
Okay. Yeah, that would be dope.
Okay.
But yeah, so we can kind of narrate through the script because this one's the least scripted session that we have on board, rather. The positive part, hey, I can see you. So the positive part of this is that it's really sort of a discussion about y'all and what brought y'all here. And so I know that we have Megan Morales from Serial Killer Sweets, Scott Pepper from the Magician's Agency, and then if we are lucky, I think that we're also going to have Frank Uresti from Frankie Diablos. So really the first part of this and the session that you're jumping into is sort of a share and tell. Is really sort of a discussion about what inspired you to get to this point. So with each person, we'll have the opportunity ideally to go through, really how they got to where they are, what that journey sort of meant to them and, why they continue to do it. And then ideally they can share a little bit with us about something they picked up, something they've learned, whether that's a tangible or an intangible. And sort of an opportunity to get to share these passions with us. And so before we jump into that component, I just want to quickly reiterate, if this is your first experience with San Antonio Entrepreneurship Week, then you've joined us at an interesting time. The 2020 year I thought would be us going a little bigger than normal. Instead, we just kind of went online. Which is different. I guess that's a bigger thing in a sense, but it's an opportunity for us to really cross boundaries a little further than we've ever done before. Ideally be a little bit more inclusive, but then also have some discussion about being resilient as a city, as an individual, as a business owner. Whatever's really happening in the world, you're not alone. And it's really a good opportunity for us to come together and kind of reshare those passions that brought us here and learn from each other. And it looks like we have Frank Uresti from Frankie Diablos that's about to jump on as well. So that's exciting. And it looks like Megan just jumped away for a second, no sweat. So we'll give it a couple minutes, but oh, nice, more people. So before we jump into the questions with Megan, the lineup today, or this evening rather, is going to be Megan and then Frank and then Scott. Unless somebody falls out, it's a very flexible thing. If you're an entrepreneur, then you know that flexibility is key, especially while you're working on your business. So anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. There will be an opportunity for you to leave your feedback. And if you have any questions, this is meant to be interactive. So we can take them in the chat, but you can also jump in if you'd like. And we'll just try to do our best to moderate that so nothing goes too crazy or wonky. So thank you for joining us again on our final panel of today, or panel, quote unquote, which is share and tell. So Megan, you're first up. So
I'm here. I'm ready.
I dig it. Yeah. So you're in the midst of making sweets and shipping them out.
Yeah,
why did you
this week
choose
was
that?
crazy. We have Father's Day, Pride boxes, a normal Tuesday. I think we shipped out about 400 boxes that they're finishing up right now.
Okay. Well, why did you choose to be such a sweet person?
I actually grew up in my mom's bakery. So from middle school, high school, even after high school, my mom, she primarily decorated wedding cakes and made wedding cakes. And I just loved the aspect of it, making cookies, making brownies. I didn't like working there all the time. And so I grew up and I was like, I'm definitely never going to do that again. And here I am with the bakery, about 15 years now after she closed hers down. I started getting back into baking a few years ago. I was going through a really tough time, just work, life, everything just wasn't working well for me. And going back to baking was always my happy place. And so that's where all of this kind of spiraled, making the cookies, the brownies. I was making cinnamon rolls for a long time when we owned our popcorn store, Pink's Popcorn. And all of this kind of just exploded too. We shut our popcorn store down. We started doing the cereal treats. And then from there, we started doing cookies and brownies.
Awesome. And so you talked about, I think you said you had a business before this, Pink's Popcorn. Was it pink because it was also sweet, or?
Yeah. I actually don't even remember why we named it Pink's Popcorn, but it was sweet. We primarily did like caramel flavor, vanilla, watermelon. Kettle was a really big popular one.
Nice. So you talked about your mom's bakery. Was that in San Antonio, or?
It was.
Awesome. So I guess you said it was around for 15 years, or was that 15 years ago?
It was 15 years ago.
Oh, I see. And so what was that like growing up with access to pretty much anything that tasted sweet?
Great.
It was great. Yeah.
It's funny because I don't like cake anymore, because that's mostly what she made was cake. And so I'm just like caked out.
I dig it. So every morning you get up and you get to inspire, new flavors, come up with crazy concoctions for other people. And I guess I'm really curious, like what drives you to want to do that? I mean, I get the idea of growing up around your family, and so that's partially a driver. But at some point, maybe you get annoyed with having to deal with customers or shipping out stuff or never getting to sleep and being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, of course, there's definitely burnout. Our biggest driving force, and I say us because it's all of us here, everybody that works with me, I feel has the same mentality, is that we love to give and we love bringing smiles to everyone's faces. So even though we could have a really bad day, a bad shipping day, a bad customer day, and we get that text, hey, these sweets were great. You just made quarantine so much better. And that just really kind of keeps us pushing forward.
Okay. And so where is your store?
We are at Patricia and West Avenue.
But during quarantine, you've mainly been selling online. Is that right?
Only online. So we actually don't do any curbside. We don't do any local delivery. You have to get it shipped to your house. And that's just because the way that our store is, every time someone enters, we have to like rearrange and do all the things. And so to keep it as safe and clean as possible, we just do shipping.
So that's a pretty interesting model in that you've essentially made a bakery that I would think would be driven by smells and lifting people up and all of this. And you've turned it into something that's totally driven by sight before smell and taste, right? So yeah. How does that even work? Like, I mean, I guess I totally would love to eat pictures, but somehow you figured out how to get people to do that. So
it's all in the video, in the photos that we take. Getting our customers to send us photos and tag us in photos has really helped. It's really funny because let's say we ship out a cookie and no one really buys it the first week, but then on social media, everyone's talking about this one cookie or how much they loved it. And then the next week we see a super big jump in sales based off of what people talk about in the comments on our social media.
So you say that you have sort of a rabid fan base around you. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a little crazy. We love them, but they're crazy just like
they're
us.
A little crazy. Exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe a little hyped up on sugar, perhaps.
Definitely.
Yeah. So really, you talked a little bit about your mom and the bakery that she had. Tell me a little bit more about that backstory. Like, what was she known for? Something specific? What did you enjoy so much about it that you just decided, hey, this is where I think I want to turn?
It just came back to being family. My mom's bakery, it was me, my mom, my grandma. It was always close friends of ours. And so that's kind of the same thing we do here. My sister, my wife, my brother work here. My best friends work here. So it's just so family oriented, and like we spend all day together, and I don't know, it's nice. That's the same thing like at my mom's bakery. We were there all the time. And it's funny because her bakery was actually located inside the place that my dad worked. So even he was always around.
That's super exciting.
Yeah.
So, and then to something that she made, is there anything that she was like really known for?
She was really known for her the fondant decorations on the cakes.
Oh, that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Have you incorporated any fondant in your sweets? No,
Not at all.
no. Just too complicated, or?
It's way too complicated. We like to jam pack them, so we don't necessarily have to decorate them.
And so, speaking of family, I know that one of the things that you're really proud of is your heritage. And you've really brought that forward in a couple ways, but specifically to something that I'd never tried before until a couple weeks ago, the ube cookie.
Ube, only
yeah.
unique.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. I mean, purple cookie, and it's super soft and I don't know, just pillowy, really amazing. But what do you feel like? What do you feel like you're known for? Like, what do you want to be known for?
The ube is definitely one we're known for. People get pretty mad when it sells out. And it's so crazy because it's our Oreo brownies. Everyone talks about the Oreo brownies all the time.
Awesome. So, really thinking through your journey as an entrepreneur. So was this, I know you said this isn't your first business. This is your second, is it your second? Or was there something before that?
I had like a mobile bartending service a few years ago as well.
Wow. So just all hospitality.
Yeah.
You just really like to serve, I guess.
I do.
So can you talk a little bit about what failures that you've kind of experienced and how you may have overcome them?
I mean, we had 3 years of failure with the popcorn store. And I say that because we learned so much from it. With the popcorn store, we learned all about customers, all about marketing, all about what people really wanted, so that when we did finally open up Serial Killers, we knew exactly how to hit the ground running. I mean, from day one, we've hit social media really hard. We've made sure that we were always staying on top of the trends. And that comes from completely failing at the popcorn store. We knew nothing about that aspect of food retail when we opened that up.
So then why start popcorn?
Oh, that was my mom's idea. She decided she wanted a popcorn store, and then she quit like 3 months later. It was crazy.
That's really funny. So that wasn't your passion.
It wasn't. And it's actually really funny because I don't like popcorn, but I really wanted to be creative with popcorn and make all these cool flavors and cool colors. And even though people liked it and it would bring them in, they still just wanted like their kettle corn or their cheddar or their caramel. And they're like, oh, these are cool flavors, but so I'm here for the cheddar.
So you really found like your outlet was creativity, and that's kind of manifested in what you do now.
Yes.
A lot more so. Okay.
Definitely.
That's pretty exciting. So I guess on the horizon, it seems like business is doing really well for you after COVID. Or really, what has COVID-19 done for your business, to your business? How have you had to shift it up, like, to make it?
It was really interesting because the week before we went online, we literally thought we were going to have to just close our doors. Like everyone else just had to close. Our place is really small. It's not built for people to come in. And through, I'd say probably about the past 4 to 5 months, we had already been trying to become an online retailer. So I don't know if anyone's heard of like Fat and Weird Cookie or PDX Cookie, where they just pretty much sell online, ship out, My Cookie Dealer. And that's where we wanted to go, but with all of the different kinds of treats. So of course, COVID happened, everything shut down, and it's like, what do we do? And then we decided just to see if people liked the idea of having it being shipped to their house instead of them coming here. And then over that, it really just, it was like making the connections in different cities and different states to get going national as well.
Okay. And so I guess when did you realize that this was a thing, like that you weren't potentially going to have to change it or, just close up shop? Like, do you feel steady with your business right now? Do you think that'll continue?
I mean, I am seeing the same increases and decreases on the time of year that we did last year when we were open retail. And so I feel pretty confident that if we stay on this online path, that we'll be okay.
Okay. So if somebody wants to follow your footsteps and be either as crazy serial killer or as sweet as you, how do you recommend that they would go about doing that? What do they need to learn, or what steps do they need to take, or how would you explain that to someone?
Definitely have all of your shipping locked down and in place. We started with the postal service, and then this is why like today we're still here, is because we had to switch practically overnight to UPS. And that's a whole new ball game when you're shipping with UPS versus the postal service. And making sure that your website is squared away to handle a lot of volume. So, and I say that because for us, we're only open for 1 hour a week online. So everybody is hitting your website all at one time, and your website has to be able to handle that. Ours was not able to handle that in the beginning.
That's like a really wild thing to think about. Your business is only open an hour a week online. It's like you're selling
all week to prepare for that 1 hour.
It's like you're selling like Justin Timberlake tickets or whoever's popular now. I don't know.
Yeah. And
That's
then
awesome.
also like be prepared to grow at a pretty like fast rate.
Mm-hmm.
So
you feel like really like the key is being prepared for growth, but then also having a good product, something that people want in that same sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think is it Southern Roots Vegan, the one that's doing
yeah.
They're slamming it, and they're really pushing all of their stuff out too, and they're pretty prepared to grow. I feel like I talked to them briefly a few days ago.
Yeah, so. I saw they got picked up. I think they were like 2,000 orders in, and they were like, "Oh God, what do we do?" Pretty exciting.
Yeah.
So I don't want to like hog the mic or anything like that, but I definitely want to see one of two things. Either do you have anything else you would like to share just relating to your passion that I don't have to step on your toes for? And then two, is there anything that you'd like to share with the audience, whether it be something they can do, something that or something that you picked up, or something they can make, or whatever you have in mind?
Use good vanilla. That's my secret. Using good ingredients, if you are in the food industry, I think completely takes the cake on everything. So like using good butter, vanilla, eggs, flour, all of that stuff, and just really engaging with your customers on social media has been a huge impact for us, because we were really personable online. People can talk to us, they can text us. Those are just kind of all the things that we've learned over the past couple of years, is hit social media hard, engage with every single person, and use good ingredients, and be fast at every point, at every turn.
I dig it. Well, that's awesome. Okay. Let me think. I'm trying to think if do we move on, or we don't really have a format for this. So,
like, do people take questions, or we just go to the next?
No,
person?
Yeah, we can definitely take questions. If anybody has questions, you can unmute, or you can drop them in the chat.
Megan, do you have any of your sweets nearby that people can see them?
I do. Let me snag some cookies. These are ours. This is our Oreo Fetty. It doesn't look like much, but it's a Oreo birthday cake cookie. And then this is what we were known for, were how big the treats were, like as big as my face. But now that we ship, we don't really make them this big all the time anymore. This is for our Father's Day box. So it's a salted marshmallow bliss with Belgian chocolates on top. That's all I have like super next to me.
And Lisa's like, yeah, just to make us all jealous. And yeah, that's right. Because it's not like you can go and buy them right now. You have to order.
You can't go and buy them, but you can always text me for the friends and family code to get in early.
So if you want to get your number to be texted, what would that be?
That would be 210-753-2032. And Monday nights, just shoot me a text. There's a password to get in the website, and that's where we let all of our friends, family, people go in and shop early.
Awesome. That's the secret's released.
Yeah, we didn't have it this week, and it was a tough time for everybody.
Okay. Well, awesome. So I guess we can move on to the next person, unless you have other things to share. Okay, sweet. So I think we can go ahead with, do you want to go next, Scott, or do you want Frankie to go next?
Well, actually, I just had a quick question for Megan, if that's
okay. Yeah. Oh, my bad. Sorry.
I'm here. I'm still here.
You're talking about shipping and everything. Do you ship all over the US, or do you find that most of your market is from locals?
We do ship all over the US. Every week we have seen an increase in the national level, I guess, like outside of Texas. Our biggest buyers are New York, New Jersey, Minnesota, and Chicago.
Wow, great. Awesome, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Are there any other questions?
Yeah, I did have a question, and now I'm just peeping in the chat, but I heard, the Pink's popcorn, which ironically we lived across the street from, and I thought for some reason it was like a clothing store. I don't know. Anyway, but I heard like the failure part of it, but now you're seeing all this really amazing growth. So how did you? I mean, was it like you flipped a switch and you kind of learned and you knew, or did you like hire people that you thought would kind of fit that area, or like you looked at the people around? So this is kind of like probably strengths finding, right? Is like, did you look around you and say this person would be helpful in these roles, or like how is that kind of revelation? How did that come to you?
So the first few weeks, it was just myself, my sister, my best friend, and my mom. And we all kind of sat down one day and we asked, like, who do we need in here? What kind of person do we need? And then we put a kind of like a list together. And so we did say, hey, we're hiring for these positions. And we told everybody to send us a joke. And if we liked their joke and we felt like it kind of matched our vibe here in the store, because I mean, we're here together 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 to 6 days a week. So you really do, in a small space, so you'd have to get along with everybody. And 2 of the people who are actually our customers in baked macarons applied, and we liked their joke. It was also people that I was familiar with, and we brought them in. And we saw where their strengths were to be like, okay, they can do these jobs, they do this. And we all have our own flow and our own routine. Every single person that's here has their own job that they do when they come in. And honestly, it just kind of lucked out that we were even able to find the people that we did. I think we're up to 9 people working now from a 2-person team.
That is like that, the joke thing. That's really cool.
Yeah, we're called Serial Killer Sweeps. A lot of us listen to true crime podcasts all day, or, have our AirPods in listening to music. And so it did help to have people that kind of matched what we were doing and didn't need, what do you call it? They're like self-starters. They didn't need a lot of attention.
And then Megan, Tyler from Cafe Azteca is saying, you are my inspiration. So I'm guessing who
Tell
was
him to bring me some coffee.
you guys can exchange. And for this, I guess your mom was your inspiration to start what you're doing.
Oh yeah, definitely. She's always been kind of a role model to everybody on what we look when we want to do something. And she was the one who pushed and was like, if y'all are gonna do the online and do the shipping, you know, put 100% into it and get it done, and you know, watch everything that happens and learn from every week. So every week is a learning experience for what we can take into the next week. Every day, actually, we're constantly learning, because online, especially with COVID, things that we have found out is people are shipping at a rate like it's the holidays. And everybody is shipping things out right now, and it's really backing up a lot of the shipping services. So we had to go through that last week. That's why we switched to UPS.
Yeah, you guys been growing a lot. I've seen the development in social media. It's just crazy how like you're selling out, and I guess your model that you adapted to be shipping and everything is just working on to your benefit, just because you have control over what you put out, and maybe even like close out shop if you need to, and even kind of feed the bandwidth that you can handle every week, and increase as you see more interest in that. And I mean, orders you can handle, because you know, like, oh, okay, we have X number of stuff we have to put out. It's not like people are in the store and you're out of something, right?
Right, exactly. Actually, we were doing it that way, where we would take the orders, we would spend all week making it, and then we would ship it out. And we would find, you know, like an hour before we were ready to start shipping, we were out of ingredients or out of bags, or something always would happen. So now we reversed it, where we actually spend all week, you know, making doughs, making cereal treats, making brownies, and we bake them all. And then the night before we're ready to ship it, all of our inventory goes online. So if we don't have it ready to go, it doesn't even make the website.
That makes sense. So what's your best day of the week? Since what would you say is your rest day?
This week so far has been our best week, and it's just we've had a lot of things. We have the Pride boxes, which are a donated box. We have the Father's Day box and our normal one. So this week has been the best week, but we've also had a lot of pre-sales for this week.
Great. And Tyler, since I'm packing coffee as I'm listening to you, and he got you, so.
Oh, thank goodness.
So you
We
might
need
be able
it.
to expect coffee from him.
Sweet, that sounds good.
So we're gonna switch gears and bring in Frankie to talk about, if you don't know Frankie, he owns Frankie Diablos. Let me see, Frank, if you can jump in, start your video. There you go. How are you? You're muted.
How about there? Can you hear me right there?
Yes. Awesome. How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, good. So I know this time is well, this session is about people talking about their passion. So I don't know if you can start about who you are, how you started your bar, and what inspired you to start your business or your bar.
Okay, it's actually that's a long story. Let's see. I started DJing when I was, I want to say 21, 22. Picked it up, started doing house parties, started doing small anniversaries, weddings, stuff like that. Gradually went up to small bars and then went into nightclubs. After getting into nightclubs, I actually liked or enjoyed the fact that owning a business in the nighttime, I was a night owl, still am, but I enjoyed that aspect. I enjoy people like have a good time, like getting them out there on the dance floor, just entertaining people. I enjoyed doing that so much that I was like, hey, I want to see if I could open up my own business. And looking into it, start seeing that, hey, it costs a lot of money to go after something and do something on your own. Partnering up with somebody was kind of something that I wasn't planned or keen on doing. So I made a decision. I didn't have a degree. I didn't have anything to back me up. I didn't have any type of schooling. So it was either going into the service and putting all that money away while I was in the service for those couple years. And everybody knows whoever's been in the service, that's kind of hard to do. Or go into the oil field. So I went to Roadmasters and signed up, got their loan, did their schooling that was like a month or 2 months long, and went to it was a company out in Pleasanton, Texas. And literally I went out there, filled out my application. I got hired literally pretty much on the spot. So I worked with them for about 4 or 5 years. And for those 4 or 5 years, just was steady, just putting away money. After about the 4th year, it was maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago, the oil field kind of took a crash. So I started saying, hey, I planned on coming out here to put money away to open up a bar or open up a nightclub. I was like, I need to go ahead and start facing that music. So I pulled out of the oil field and I started looking for places. I started putting my business plan together, started thinking about what my gimmick was, what my focus was. And then actually my first venture was with a nightclub that actually was open for about 2 years. But they ended up closing their doors. It was with them. So I initially invested, I want to say almost $10,000 with them before we even opened. Kind of hit a brick wall and the money didn't look right. So I had to pull out. But at the same time, I was promised I was going to get money back that I invested, which never did. So the money that I did have, I found, which is what is now Frankie Diablo's, which my initial was to be in the downtown area. I didn't know it was going to be that far south. When I got in there, it was like, hey, I'm going to make this work. I'm going to figure out how to do it and how to make it. And literally it was flying by the seat of my pants, like pretty much everything from paperwork to knowing how to run a POS system. I literally had to do it as I was going. I saw everything from the outside as a DJ, so I never knew the behind the scenes. I just knew that I wanted to pursue this, and pursuing it and going through it, I've learned a lot, but it took a lot. I'm still learning every day. Every year that we were open, it's a learning process, finding out new things, different things, easier things, and then just making friends with other business owners that run bars and then picking their brains has actually helped us tremendously. We're at a lot better place than we were when we first started. But right now we're kind of struggling with the whole COVID, and it's scary because my staff, they want to work, but they're afraid as well. And I'm afraid for them. And I also told them, like, hey, we don't have to work, but everybody needs to turn a dollar right now. And we're doing everything that we possibly can as of right now. But up until when COVID hit, we're actually starting to turn a lot better. We're actually starting to look a lot better. But right now we're just kind of in an awkward position, I would say.
Yeah. And it sounds like you really, it took years for you to, like, you really knew what you wanted to do. You really knew the industry that you wanted to be in, and you worked for it. You put money aside to make it happen. So that shows a lot of the theme of what we have this week is resilience. So that's great that it finally came true. And also that Ryan mentioned to me that you had some expansion across the street for that was happening. Was that happening before COVID? Is that still happening? Is that still in the plans? And then for everyone that doesn't know, where's your bar so they can know about it, and how, like, are you doing any business right now that they can kind of get to you?
Yes, we're open right now. We're at 1301 Roosevelt. We call it the edge of Southtown. It's the developing area. Some say developing, some say gentrification. It's a mixture of both. When I first opened in that, it was a real rough area. Now there's a lot of apartment complexes going out there, but it's on 1301 Roosevelt off of Mitchell and Roosevelt Avenue. So across the street is the old Brady's Marine boat lot. And for a couple years, they were trying to sell it. It's I want to say it's almost a quarter of an acre. They were trying to sell it, and I want to say January, I was driving by there and I saw the sign and it was still up. And I remember asking them before, and they were so set on selling it, but there was no way that I could come up with. They were trying to sell it for $100,000 for a lot that had nothing on it, and there was no way that I was going to jump on that, or could I jump on that? So in January, I drove by, I called again, and it just so happens that they weren't selling it anymore. They were looking to lease it, and they were leasing it under the contingency that it was a commercial 3, which is a C3, meaning that you could have a bar on it. So my mind started going crazy of like maybe dropping, a makeshift like those storage containers, making it into a small bar, kind of like Alamo Eats was off of Alamo. So I wanted to go through with it, started talking to them, and then later on, it turns out that it's a C1, but right now they're in the process of going to C3. So I did sign it, and what I want to do is make it into a food truck park in the area that offers something other than taco trucks. And I know on the south side it's known for taco trucks, but at the rate that it's expanding and it's growing and it's diversifying, I wanted to start offering something else, like different cultural foods to come there, and then even to where it's not like a set type of truck, like literally like a revolving door, like it always changes. We want to give people a chance to be able to grow with something and get their feet wet. The first 2 weeks to a month, I'm offering food trucks for free, like just to make sure that it's a fit for them, a fit for us, something that they can expand on, or just to get out there and to be seen. I know how hard it is to start a business, or just to get somewhere where somebody's not trying to turn a dollar on you. So what I want to do is I want to offer that to, and I actually talked to Carlos and Brian about it, like if we have any food trucks or people that are trying to be food trucks, even pop-ups, the patio is welcome. You're welcome to the patio. If you have a truck or a trailer, I'll offer 2 weeks to a month out there for free, and just kind of like as a partnership, as we trying to bring people out there, trying to bring people to see who you are, what you have to offer. And that's the biggest thing, is that growing is trying to bring people to grow with you. That's one of my biggest deals, why I booked that lot, why I want to make sure that it turns into something that's going to be positive.
Yes, and I think right now, with like you mentioned, it's a hard time for small business owners, and you also mentioned that you learn a lot from other bar owners and other small business owners in San Antonio. So I think you providing that opportunity for people that may be starting their food truck business, or maybe looking to a new space or a new community to grow their business. It's great that you're providing them that kind of test run of if this is a good fit. A lot of the times businesses don't get that test run. Like you might have, I don't know if you can share with us maybe some of the struggles you went through as you start your business. Megan did mention like she started the popcorn business, it didn't work out for her, and she had to like completely switch gears. And even though like at the moment it might seem like the worst thing, but I think those experiences do make you stronger, do make you appreciate and even come back to provide opportunities to other small business owners. So I don't know if you have any experiences you want to share about what you learned being I guess when you started the bar, were there a lot of bars around you or businesses around you?
Yes, actually. So there's, I want to say 6 bars within maybe half a mile. We're the only full service bar. I think the closest full service bar at the time was 101. Now we have Luchadores, who's not that far away from us. And the furthest south, the full service bar was, I think, Nichas, but they're a restaurant as well. That area was known for more of like, I want to say like an older generation crowd. The guys that go in there right after work, they just drink beer, they just hang out, play pool. The music was more Latin, more Tejano, country, not really. The stuff that we were bringing was more, I guess, more modern, more hip hop, more cumbias, more, I guess, more lively, more dancing. So as far as that, it was a bit different for people around us, even our neighbors. Like it was a different fit for them, and we weren't trying to fit in. We knew that we were different. That's what we betted on, because we didn't want to be like every other bar. I mean, they had their template. I mean, we had ours. There's people in that area that would come to us before they would go downtown, just because, hey, they didn't have to travel as far. And as far as like, I guess it would be like growing pains or trying to figure something out. Some of our problems were like saying, hey, you want to offer all of these things, like offering draft, offering bottles, offering cans. I mean, we had struggles because everybody said they want to draft. Everybody said they want to draft. When we bring in draft takes a lot. Like it takes a lot of, it's a lot of cleaning. If you don't take control of it, or if you don't stay ahead of it by preventative maintenance, like you'll get fruit flies very easily, very quickly. There's certain people that will not drink bottles, but they'll drink cans, or there's certain people that will drink cans and not bottles. Learning who your niche is. I mean, we went through tons of stuff. I mean, we all want to offer so many different varieties, kind of like our friends over at the Friendly Spot. Like they have an enormous choice. Like you could choose anything underneath the sun. But as a smaller bar, like we didn't have that overhead. We didn't have that luxury of being able to find that stuff. So one of the biggest things is seeing like what's going to work. There's plenty of cases of beers and different things that I just lost because it was not turning over. Like our representatives be like, oh, this is doing good in this area. And when we buy it, like it never moves.
Yeah. And I think that's a lot about like learning.
Smirnoffs. And that.
Go ahead. No, I was just going to say, like, I think it's a lot about learning who your audience is, like where you are. You did bring something new to the area. You're again trying to bring something new with the new, like the spot across the street, like bringing in food trucks. And you mentioned maybe not the same type of food trucks that there are right now in the South, or like border to Southtown. But you want to just kind of introduce a new area. And I think we've seen that with the city. There's new places to go in little hubs where people don't have to travel as far to get the same stuff. You don't have to go to downtown maybe to get the same, be at a same bar, or a bar that provides dance and another type of atmosphere, right? So I think you're bringing in something to that area that was not there before. So
yeah, bringing in more of a variety.
Yeah. So I guess from perspective of what are your plans in the food truck part, where are your plans to start that? Do you have any, maybe people in the audience that are listening or might listen later, is there any way they can maybe get in contact with you about getting into the food truck park, or how's that going to work? What's the time frame on that?
Yes, definitely. They would, the best way to communicate with us would probably be through our Facebook. Just throw us a message on the Frankie Diablos and we'll get you taken care of. One of the biggest things is I want to have, like, right now I can only do 2 food trucks, but as soon as they change it to a C3, I can have up to 6 and up, actually. What my plans are in the future is I want to host open air events out there. And one in kind of like everybody's talking about the new norm. I want to start focusing on maybe getting it more to an open air and not into a confined space. Safety is going to be one of the biggest things, especially going towards the future. I don't think this is going to go away anytime soon. But the open air events I want to offer to one of our events that we want to do is going to be an all female event. We're going to call it.
Nice.
It's not going to be the Mujeres Market, but it's going to be like Latin based crafts, anything.
Why,
They're going to do the Damas Market. So it's
Why
all
not?
women. What was
why
that?
an all female? I was just wondering why an all female market.
Because we just it's going to be like one of our focus. Like we're going to do it either once a month or once every 3 months. It'll be all women. So all women craft. So it's like a woman empowerment. One of the people that we have that is actually heading it is there. She's from Que Bonita. She's helping us put it all together, but all the way up to who we have out there, from the food trucks to the crafts to who we have performing. We're looking at all female mariachi groups and even like all female like bands or DJs. And that's what we want to do for a kickoff. And then from there, we want to maybe host an all male and then have a mixed one, like young entrepreneurs. Like there's a lot of kids out there that are doing stuff like they're just making crafts and they're selling them. One of my nieces, they're making bracelets and stuff like that, and they're selling them. And it's cool for me to see because she's only like 14 years old and she's starting to learn like entrepreneur, and like the way I like to say it is like a hustler's mentality. Like you don't have to wait to work for somebody. You can do it on your own, especially with your own creativity. It's just trying to help that and push that. But that's one of our first ones for that lot in that area is to try to do like open air events for people to go out there and sell. And just for people that to know that they don't have to go to a mall. They can buy local.
Yeah, I think you're very involved, like very also inspired by what the like the community is doing, and you try to reflect that on what you do every day. But you did mention that you started as a DJ, so I'm wondering, do you still do that? Are you secretly trying to get back into DJ
Yes,
at some
actually,
point in
I
future?
have to deliver some parts right now. I have a friend working on some turntables for me. I've never left it. There's every once in a while where a DJ can't make it out, and yes, I'll play at the bar. There's a lot of acts that are like from Corpus and stuff like that, and I'll go and play with them. And I'll DJ more at home for myself. And sometimes during the COVID, I was actually DJing on Facebook, and I have other DJs come into my home, and we would play for people to see online. But yes, it's always going to be a part of me. I try to hang it up, and I pull myself back into it. I ended up buying more equipment and doing stuff. That's always going to be one of my original loves, other than running a bar and running my own business.
So are you very particular about the music you play at your bar? Like, did you get mad if the DJ's bad or something?
No, I mean, I think every DJ has a time that they're learning something. They're trying to get better. It's just knowing when you need to maybe stay at home a little bit longer and practice a little bit more. But that's identifying it to yourself. Nobody's gonna really tell you that straight out, but I try to screen my DJs. I'll go and watch them somewhere else, or I'll know them from around the way. That's how I try to bring them in. And as far as genres, I like keeping it open format. One of my biggest things is I like it's more like cumbia, but it's like mixing cumbia with hip hop beats. That's one of my favorite things right now. But yeah, I try to keep it open format as much as possible.
Awesome. And is that like, aside from like your passion was DJ, that's why you wanted to do like a nightlife? Are you looking to ever, like you mentioned, doing a club? Is there any other passions related, maybe bartending or something that's also like involved in what you do at Frankie Diablo's that drives you? Like, what other gigs could you pick up?
Yeah, I
at a
do.
bar?
Yeah, I actually started bartending when I opened up the bar. I had a lot of friends that came in and started helping me. We actually want to introduce a couple of drinks, more drinks, and our urban legend list. That's kind of like what I guess is a staple for us on in the South Side. Is that a lot of our signature drinks are based off of like folklore or urban legend in the community or actually in Texas. So I sat down with a couple of bartenders and we went over flavors and just different looks. So a lot of the stuff that we grew up with as kids, as Latinos, is like La Llorona and the Donkey Lady, stuff like that, the Ghost Tracks, things in San Antonio that we grew up with. We made those drinks for that. So everything that we do at the bar, we try to make it really good. Like there's a lot of bars that you can go to, and I'm not knocking any one particular, but like it's just you could tell that it's rushed and the drinks they're not really that great. But our signature drinks, like we took a lot of time and we took a lot of we drank a lot to make sure that everything that you get on those drinks,
You
like
tried
it's
them
a
all.
yeah, oh, for sure. Time and time again, we tweak them and tweak them and tweak them. But I like to say, like almost every drink that you find on our list, you come out and you try them, you're gonna find a favorite. Depending if it's sweet, if it's sour, um, if it's just more in depth with the flavor, like we try to cover every aspect of it.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know if anybody in the audience has any questions. They can jump in. We have a small group, so you feel free to unmute or drop them in the chat. I do have a question. Is there like an easy drink, maybe not signature, but something that we can make at home that doesn't require a lot of, or something you can maybe give us?
An easy,
Do you have like a
yeah,
signature
for
drink
sure.
we can do at home?
Yeah, actually, one of the drinks that we don't actually offer on our list, but it's a drink that I offer people that really don't know what they want. It's more of a refreshing drink. So you would get you'd get lime juice, you'd get lemon juice, you'd mix it half and half. You fill it up with water and sugar. That will be your sweet and sour. And then you can do it'd be a even portion, so it'd be an ounce and a half of effing cucumber and then a half an ounce of triple sec. You can get one that's alcohol free, or if you like triple sec with alcohol, you can get like a Grand Marnier that would make it a top shelf. But any type of triple sec will do. And then you mix that with your sweet and sour. Shake it up with ice, serve it. It's actually really refreshing. Squeeze the lime on top of it, and it's good to go. It's really refreshing. I actually make it in large sums when we go to like float the river and stuff, and we have to put it in containers. And everybody loves it. It's real easy to drink. It's nothing that's
That does sound
overbearing.
very refreshing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cucumber and lime, and it's actually really easy to drink and it's really good.
Love that. Yeah. I made some popsicles, but they're hard like to make with alcohol. So
Yeah.
Is there anything you would like to share with, like anything else you think you want to share with the audience about your business, or maybe some just inspiration about following your passion as you did? Like I mentioned at the beginning, I think you really thought it through and put money aside and didn't give up. Like you were like, well, this is the time to go back and kind of risk it all to make it happen. Is there anything you would like to share in that note?
Yeah. You have to be relentless. There's gonna be a lot of naysayers. There will always be naysayers. They're gonna be some of the closest people to you. You have to learn how to put that aside. If you really want to pursue something this be your passion, you're gonna have to be relentless. You're gonna hit walls. You're gonna hit roadblocks. You're just gonna have to be relentless in figuring out how to get around it. There's worlds of information out there on how to or where to get information or anything like that. And if it's anything to do with bars or opening a business, like reach out to people. If you ever have any of you guys ever need any help or advice or just want to pick my brain, like contact me through the Frankie Diablos. I'll be happy to help anybody that has any questions, but you just have to be relentless. You can't give up.
Yeah, and Frankie has been like a mentor with us with Breakfast and Launch, and I think he mentioned also that he has reached out to other small business owners to help him through his journey. I think it's very important to stay connected as a community, and if you're thinking about starting something similar or would like to get in touch with him about collaborating, I think he has great ideas about bringing the community together. So, what's the best way to contact you, Frankie?
Through the Frankie Diablo's Facebook. I
Okay.
usually, I'm the one that reviews all that and answers back on those.
I got a question for you too, Frankie.
Okay.
Where do I get that Frankie Diablo swag from?
Actually, I'm going to put that online. I'm going to start putting, I think it's through Big Cartel. I don't know if a lot of you, whoever does stuff that does crafts like that and sells swag, t-shirts, anything like that, Big Cartel, they charge $10 a month and they help you put it online so where you can send it out. So we have I like doing hood rat things with my friends, and the Necio and Nestia shirts, we're going to stick with those for now, but we're going to push that through online mostly. So hopefully within the next week, you'll be able to see it online. And I'll be pushing it through our Instagram and through our Facebook. But if before then, you can actually contact us to do the same thing, Frankie Diablo's messenger.
Awesome, dude.
Thank you,
Super
Frankie.
excited. Yeah.
Hope
Thank you,
stick
Frankie.
around for the magic.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay, and so I guess we can go ahead and transition over to our final passionista, I'll call him. Probably. Yeah, Scott Pepper. Scott Pepper, you own the Magician's Agency. It looks like you're on mute. I don't know if I'm on mute. Am I on mute? I'm not on mute. Okay. You may have not said anything. So I'd love to learn, I mean, the Magician's Agency, number one, obviously you must have some magic that you do. So I'd love to learn your backstory. Like, how did you get into magic? Why is that your passion? I'm assuming, right? And why is that your passion? And yeah, so just would love to learn a little bit more, and then kind of, I'll poke holes rather wherever I see good questions to ask, I'll try to ask them. So
Please do, yeah. So yeah, magic's been my passion since I was very young. I started when I was 9 years old. I was a Cub Scout and I needed to get an entertainment's badge, and I tried all this different stuff that didn't work. And finally, my mum bought me this bucket of magic tricks, and I don't think I even practiced one of them. I just got to my Cub Scout meeting, opened the lid, and just picked one out. I was like, what does this do? All right, cool. And then just went through these things, and begrudgingly, they had to give me my entertainment's badge because I officially did it, even though it wasn't very good. So that kind of just got put on hold for a little while. And then when I was, about 6 months later, I was on vacation in England, and there was a talent competition at this particular venue. And I thought, oh, I know some magic tricks. And by then I'd read a magic book. So I kind of put a little act together, and I learned how to make balloon animals as well. And I went up there and I dressed kind of smart, and I did this talent competition. And I was up against 2 other contestants. I think one was someone doing karate and someone reading a poem. And I won. I mean, even if it was just out of default, but I won. And they invited me back to do this, to represent this venue in the finals. And little did I know then, like, firstly, you won a free vacation, and secondly, I'm now up against 23 other acts that have all won throughout the year. So now it was kind of serious. So I took on a mentor in the UK. His name was Lenny Blees, and I was 10 years old still at the time. He was performing another venue in my hometown, and my dad introduced me, and I'd meet up with him every Wednesday, and he would teach me a new trick. And every now and then he'd give me a trick. It was really cool. And he sold me my first set of the rings, the linking rings, for like $10 or £7.50 as it was in England. And I took all those tricks and everything I'd learned, and I went into this talent competition 6 months later with this new show at 10 years old. And I beat 22 other people in this talent competition. And I won. And I just couldn't believe it. It was like my first success, I guess. So then I realized that magic could maybe be a thing. So I just kept on with it. And throughout school, I wasn't really a fan of being in school, I'll be honest, because I just really wanted to do magic. I did fine. Got great grades. I put my head down, but really I was just trying to look on being able to get out of school and start in entertainment. Luckily, we had a theater arts department at the school, which was absolutely amazing. They were such a great, it was my favorite lesson to do. So every week I'd look forward to theater arts. We started a juggling club at school as well, which I ended up being the leader of. We also had a magic club as well. So all these things, although I didn't really enjoy school, these things just kept me motivated. And at the same time, I was doing children's birthday parties around the local area. Like my dad would literally drive me around, and I was 13, I think, and he let me go and do the show, and he'd wait in the car, and then 45 minutes later, I'd come back and we'd drive to the next party. And then when I left school, I jumped straight into entertainment head first. I joined an entertainment team at a big venue in near my hometown, and they weren't meant to take me till I was 18. I was only 17, so they just they all lied and told everyone that I was 18 just so I could get the job. And that was pretty handy because also the drinking age in England is 18, and they all thought I was. So so that was really my first kind of experience with entertainment, straight out of school, straight into a job doing entertainment where I got to do magic. I got to do work on the microphone. I got to do activities with the families. It was a great time.
That's super exciting. So to be sort of a traveling entertainment magician, sort of jack of all trades in some sense, just sounds like extremely fulfilling as a kid. How did you carry that into, I guess, your adulthood? Was it just the challenge of continuing to entertain audiences? Like how have you been able to sustain something so long and still be excited to do it every day?
It was really weird. There's so much progression in magic and entertainments in general that it was never a dull moment. So I spent 4 years as what we call like a resident entertainer, which is almost like a cruise staff on a cruise ship, where I would do everything. I'd sometimes work 17 hours a day. I'd be up in the morning doing the kids club, and I'd do all this stuff in the afternoon, and I'd DJ at night, and then do my magic show once a week. So I did that for 4 years, and it's a really tough job and really low pay, but you really learn very, very quickly on your toes. So as soon as I felt that my magic act was ready after that, I jumped straight into going out on the road with my own act. So I think I was 22, and I just decided, right, I'm going to get my car, I'm going to fill my thing up, I'm going to go and perform at all these different venues. And I did that for 4 years. So that was great because I traveled from each venue once a night, driving around. I was in a double act as well. So that was completely different to what I did before. So before I had a boss, and I was doing all these hours. Now I'm doing one show a night, but also maybe 8 hours of driving per day, but most of the time one show per night. And like, I was suddenly the star. Before I was introducing the band, I'm introducing the magician. Now I get to be that guy. So I did that for about 4 years. And then the next logical step was going to be cruise ships. So I had something to really aim towards. But cruise ships, unfortunately, it went, resident entertainer, working in the UK circuit, and then cruise ships was up here somewhere. So I had a long, hard road to get there. But something really interesting happened in that time when I started doing these things called flybacks, where they fly you out to places like Egypt and Greece, and you do like a few shows over 4 nights. And it was a really, really amazing job. It really was. And at the time, I was also working in a theater. But no, sorry, this was before the flyback. Sorry, I was working in the theater. I had this amazing job where I'd do these 3 nights a week in this beautiful old theater. But that's all I was doing, and it paid next to nothing. So I was working a van job in the morning, like driving a van around the local area, delivering linen. And I remember one day I got back home, my rent was due, and it was about, I don't know, 50 English pounds, $75 for the week, and I couldn't afford it because I'd spent all my money on producing and making the show better. And I was distraught. I was like, this doesn't make sense. I'm working my butt off in the morning to try and pay for my magic habit, I guess I call it, and I still can't afford to pay rent. So I was, it was a real turning point where I decided, like, okay, I've got to make a decision now. I'm either going to keep doing this, know that it's going to be really tough and never give up, or I'm going to give up now, get a regular job, and make sure I've got money coming in. And I knew in my heart of hearts I didn't want to do that. So I said, all right, this is it. I'm going to carry on with magic, and I'm gonna somehow make this work. And it was about 5 or 6 months after that I got my first cruise ship contract. And it made a huge difference, not only to my career, but also to the money I was bringing in. You know, I quadrupled what I was earning over 6 months, but it was like all of those 10 years of work went into getting this one cruise contract, and suddenly I'd taken that step up. So again, it was just another level. You had a great time on the entertainment circuit, and then suddenly now I've got something new to look forward to in the way of cruise ships.
That's really exciting to basically be able to cruise around the world and have that opportunity to explore it even further, and then also get paid, hopefully substantial amounts of money. So as you were really learning and growing as a magician, I'm really curious on the business end. You talked about buying your first trick, I guess you could say, from your mentor. Two questions in that. How do you know what a trick is worth to sell it to somebody? And then also beyond that, how do you how did you know you were ready to go out on your own? Was it amassing a number of things that you had learned from other people, or was it a matter of building new things that you hadn't seen? How do you know that you're ready to go out?
Okay, so first question, what is a magic trick worth? Very difficult to know, because sometimes you're buying equipment, sometimes you're buying an idea. Sometimes I paid more for an idea than I have for equipment, because the idea was such. Actually, I'm going to hopefully show you guys one in a bit, which the idea behind it was so clever that it cost more than a lot of smaller tricks that I've ever bought. But so sometimes you're paying for actual just equipment, sometimes you're paying for an idea, and sometimes you're paying for both. And that's when it gets really, really expensive. So obviously there's other ways to learn magic by going through books and making your own tricks and things like that. So you don't have to keep throwing out money, but as an illusionist, which I was at the time, I was throwing out a lot of money on big props. So you were really just paying for the actual build of the prop. And they, as my show got bigger and bigger, the props got bigger and bigger, and they got more and more expensive. So it was always, everything that came in always went back out again, because I wanted this big show. But sorry, what was your second question?
The second question was really about, how do you know that you're ready to go out and show the world what you're doing?
So you do and you don't. When I first went out on the holiday park circuit in England, I had no idea. I just wanted to go out there and see what happened. I felt my show was working okay from the little small gigs I was doing. So I was like, all right, let's give it a go. Cruise ships is a little bit different. You have to be approved to do a cruise ship. And so I tried for maybe about 2.5 years, just sending videos. They kept saying, no. And then I did this season at the theater, and I built up a really nice show reel with my bigger illusions. And finally they said, all right, so you never really know yourself if you're ready. And to be honest, the first time I went on a cruise ship, I wasn't ready. I did my show, I got through it by the skin of my teeth. And then the second ship I did, and this is something to go in the failures column, I bombed so hard that they canceled the rest of my future contracts. It was like, I just worked 10 years to get on this cruise ship, had one good contract, great, went back on, and then boom, like it just, I had the wrong show for the audience that I was performing for. And this is something you would never know until you actually went in front of them and did it. So anyway, there was an upside to that story. Eventually, I went back, and once I'd lost that contract, I had another contract booked for 6 months later through a different agent who hadn't heard about this failure in this other one. So I had about 6 months to figure it out really quick. Like, how am I going to make this show better? What am I going to do? So again, I took on mentors in the local area, magicians that had done it before, and just asked them every question under the sun. How can I make my act better? What can I do? I ended up spending about another $10,000 just on props to make that show better. And the good news was, at the end of it, 6 months later, I got back on that other cruise ship, which was a 6-month contract. So I was terrified about losing that. But I got on and everything went great, and we had great scores. And from then on, it was kind of plain sailing. But we had to have that really big failure first to figure out, what was going to work.
So you achieve this great success. You're on cruise ships. You get another contract, a long contract to work on the cruise ship that I guess you wanted to be on at the time. And then somehow you ended up in the magic capital of the world, San Antonio.
Yeah, right. Hang on. I got some pictures actually. Where are they? Here we go. Let me show you a couple of here, and we can make it to the San Antonio bit. So that's me at my first show when I was 10 years old. Yeah, that was literally the first show I did. That was crazy. Then this is where I ended up on Disney Cruise Lines. That kind of skipped a lot. Okay, fair enough. Disney Cruise Lines. So that was the kind of size of the show I had at the time. It got really big. That guy in the box, by the way, is the captain of the ship, which is really cool. So We really did grow the show. And then so all this time while I was on the ship, I was working on being able to move to America. That was the biggest thing that like most people didn't have to deal with. Most of the guys I knew were Americans. They could just come and do shows here. I had to become a visa holder here in America to even be able to perform here. So I spent all this time on cruise ships working on this show. And then eventually I applied for something with the O1 visa. So that finally got granted in January 2015. And I was able to move to America. And this is coming some of the stuff that I did since I moved here. So I was living in Orlando, Florida, still working for Disney Cruise Lines. And as you can see, I did Masters of Illusion, the TV show. I performed at the Magic Castle, and everything was going really, really well. But I was dating someone at the time who wasn't keen on Orlando. They wanted to move. So we decided just to do a road trip around the US and try and look at all the different tourist destinations where they have magic shows. And, so we went to Vegas, we went to Branson, Missouri, went to Myrtle Beach, went to all these different places. And on the way through from going to California to Orlando, we passed through Austin and San Antonio. And I had never been to San Antonio in my life. I didn't really know much about it. But as soon as I got here, I realized that this place was like a mini Orlando. We had theme parks, we had tourist attractions. And as much as I looked, I couldn't find one dinner show. I couldn't find any kind of like touristy. Obviously, we got our theaters here, but no tourist theater attractions. So eventually, we had to make a decision to move somewhere. And I called up the Magic Theater in San Antonio, who are a children's theater, but they don't do any magic shows and they only do daytime shows. So I called them up and offered them my show for a run of 4 weeks. And they said yes. So I literally moved to San Antonio with 4 weeks worth of work. And that went very, very quickly. And then I was kind of, from then on, it was another struggle to get everything going.
Awesome. So at this point, you're in San Antonio, and how has that been going for you?
So again, let me show you really quickly. This is when we started at the Magic Theater in 2015-16. We had a huge cast back then, and most of the guys were local actors. They were wonderful, and everything. We did that for 2 years, and that was just to really try and test out the waters to see how the show would work and see how many people would come and see it without putting too much money into it. We were just doing a direct 50-50 split with the theater, so there really wasn't much to lose, and that's how I really wanted it, because I could have lost a lot very quickly. So that went really well, but I realized that the Magic Theater had their own things going on. It was very hard to share the space, so I needed my own space. So in 2017, we moved into the St. Francis Church, which is when Frank's Hot Dogs were there. And I managed to do a deal with the guy that ran it, Daniel Northcutt. And I told him what we did, and I told him what we did at the Magic Theater, and he was more than happy to come on board. So for 6 months, we did this dinner theater show at St. Francis Church, similar show that we did at the Magic Theater, a little bit smaller, of course. They supplied the food, we supplied the entertainment. And again, everything went really well. We started getting a following on TripAdvisor. We became a 5-star rated attraction. But then at the end of the 6-month contract, I didn't re-sign because I felt it was an okay match. But they were a hipster bar restaurant. We were a family-friendly magic show. There was some bits where I didn't have control of. So I decided to go out there and look for my own venue. And luckily enough, we found this place, the Reuter Building in Alamo Plaza. You'll see it's right above the Mirror Maze on the 4th floor. This is what it looked like when I first came in. It was an empty ballroom, nothing much in there. And I believe this next picture is kind of what it looks like now with the larger stage, the TV screens, the lights up, the close-up magic section, and the outdoor area. And that's where I've been now for the last 2 years running the show. And yeah, so far so good.
Well, I know I've seen your show personally, and I think that you're an absolutely wonderful magician. But I would love to see if you might be interested in sharing some of your skills with the rest of the audience.
Oh, I would love to. I really would. Actually, we'll go back to that. Let's do some magic. So this, I'd be honest, I haven't done many Zoom shows. I've been really busy working on other shows at the theater. So I wanted to make this interactive as well. So I will need you guys here to partake. All you're gonna have to do is unmute your microphone, and that would be great. Because as a magician, I have to learn lots of different skills, things like sleight of hand, misdirection, illusions, escapology. But one of the most important things I learned was how to read people from just meeting them straight away. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pin myself against you guys in a no-holds-barred game of tic-tac-toe. Dun, dun, dun. And I'm so confident that I know what you're going to do before you do it. Even if you guys draw with me, you win. Okay, so all you have to do is stop me from winning. That's the only thing. So let's give this a go. And Ryan, as you're there, we'll start with you. And obviously, I know you a little bit, so this will make it a little bit easier on me. But you're also going to have the bigger decision to make here. So Ryan, first we're going to decide who goes first. Okay.
Okay.
I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 10. What is it?
5.
No, it was 7. I get to go first, Ryan. Sorry. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to play it nice and safe. Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan, you get to pick. You can either go for a corner or a middle, of course. Which would you prefer, a corner or a middle? You're going to be X's.
Corner.
A corner. Okay. And which corner would you like? I'm going to kind of point to them and you just say stop. Okay.
Stop.
This one here?
Yes.
I knew you were going to do that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go, I think I'm going to go here, right here. Okay. And let's use someone else here. Let's, Taylor, we haven't heard from Taylor over there. Hey, Taylor, can you hear us?
Yes.
Hey, Taylor. I just obviously need to find out a little bit more about you before we do this. Are you from San Antonio?
No.
Oh, where are you originally from?
McAllen, Texas.
Oh, so still Texas, though.
Yes.
Okay, so this should work in my favor. Taylor, where do you want to go?
I'll go to stop you getting from a TikTok point.
I was hoping you didn't see that. Okay, let me put that there. I'm going to go right there. Good job. Okay. Thank you, Taylor. What that means, I think I am going to go right here and stop you, of course. Cool. All right. Thank you very much, Taylor. Let's, Daniela, are you there? No, Daniela's not there. All right, cool. Jake, are you there?
I am.
Hey, Jake. All right, cool. Your turn. Where would you like to go?
The top right corner
Which
to
is my
block.
bottom left. Okay, to stop me right there. Okay, and just before I make my move, Jake, are you what's your star sign?
Sagittarius.
Yeah, I thought it was. Okay, right. Cool. I'm gonna go right here then. Now that leaves us with just 2 moves. Actually, Ryan, you haven't got much choice. Ryan, would you just your crosses? Where do you want to go?
To block the center. Yeah, right there.
Obviously, like you've done your best, but of course now if I put this one in, you can see okay, we drew. Which I guess means you guys win.
Right. Right.
Okay, well let me show you first. Look, I'm not going to move these out of order at all, but if I take this middle piece out, you may see there's like a little picture on there. Do you see that? There it is.
Yeah.
See, now there are over 270,000 different ways a tic-tac-toe board could be arranged. Now, I said I knew what you were going to do, not while we were doing it, but before this even began. See, you were always going to choose where you were going to choose because each of those pictures actually lined up to create one whole image, in this case, the Mona Lisa. And you can see these pieces are actually all separate from it. Like that, let me show you. There we go. And that is our game of tic-tac-toe.
Wow.
It's weird not having an audience like clapping at that point. But it's fine. It's fine. We'll just we'll keep going. All right, let me show you this. If you've ever come, Ryan, you've come to. Thank you. The clap emoji from Ryan. I do appreciate that. That's awesome. Now, if you were to come to my theater and you'd look around, you would see lots of old magic posters all over the wall. And I love magic posters so much. I spoke to a friend of mine in the UK and he had these made for me. It's actually a deck full of magic posters. They're really cool. Like every single one of them is different. There's magicians going back many, many years. Let's have a look. There's actually a couple of really interesting characters in here. Keller, Chungling Su right here. Now, if you guys don't know who Chungling Su is, let me tell you, Chungling Su was a Chinese magician who died while doing the bullet catch trick live on stage. And it was only after he died, people found out that he wasn't actually Chinese. He was an American guy named William Robinson, and he'd been playing the part of a Chinese guy his whole life. He even had 2 families, a Chinese family and an English family. It was a crazy story. There's a book out there on him. But I'm just going to go through these. You can see they're absolutely different. We have got 2 cards there that I'm going to take out. but every single one of these is different. Now, let's, Frankie, are you still there? You still there, Frankie? No, okay, I guess not. Guess it's just, hey, Taylor, we're going to go back to you, all right? Megan, you still there?
Megan's here. I'm
Megan's
here.
Wonderful.
I'm
Okay,
here.
cool.
I want to pick something.
Excellent. All right, Megan. So we'll use Megan and Taylor, right, for this. Megan, you're going to be the, see, I've got a red king here and we've got a black king. Megan, you're going to be the red king. What I'm going to do is just deal down the cards one at a time. And whenever you want to say stop, you just say stop. You can go as far as you want. It's up to you, Megan. It's got to be your choice.
Okay, stop.
There. Okay, I'm just going to square them up. Place your card right there. Place them on top. Okay. Taylor, you are going to be the black king. I'm going to go through these one at a time. Again, when you're ready, you just say stop. It's entirely up to you.
Stop.
Okay, good stuff. Place it on there. Now check it out. Look, get rid of the box. If I spread these out, you should be able to see the red king and the black king in there. If you could have stopped me any other time. You were the guys who chose these positions. Now I'm just going to separate the cards where you stop them. There's the red king. There's the black king. Now, I said to you, every single one of these cards is different. I lied to you. There are two duplicates inside this deck, and they're actually the King of Diamonds and King of Clubs, the ones you were using. But here's the weirdest thing, Megan. You managed with your King of Diamonds to find the exact duplicate of the one in the deck. And Taylor, you could have stopped anywhere you want, but with your King of Clubs, you also found the second duplicate in the deck. And that's pretty weird, but here's even weirder. Megan, you had the King of Diamonds, you managed to find the King of Hearts. Taylor, you had the King of Clubs, you managed to find the King of Spades, giving us all 4 kings. Now, at which point, most people think that this deck is full of kings, which would be a great guess. But unfortunately, it's not right, because every single one of these cards is the Ace of Spades.
What? I love magic tricks.
Well, that's good, because I'm going to teach you one now. I'm going to teach you a magic trick. And if you've got a rubber band or a couple of rubber bands handy, you can join along with this. If not, you can remember this, and you can try it when you get some rubber bands. But let me show you the trick first of all. Okay, so we're going to take a blue rubber band here, and it's going to go on my 2 fingers like that. Going to take a yellow rubber band and tie up my fingers just like that. So you can see the blue rubber band is really kind of locked onto those fingers. It can't get out anywhere, but keep an eye on that blue rubber band on 3. 1, 2, 3, and it just jumps over to the pinky and the ring finger. Now, hopefully we can go back as well. So keep your eye on that elastic band on 3. 1, 2, 3, and it jumps right back over, still while my fingers are locked up. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this one. This is a lot of fun. So if you have got elastic bands, you can join in. If not, just try and remember.
Do you have any rubber bands?
I'm actually, Megan, if you can find one, I'll wait for you, because I want.
I have only hair ties.
That will work. A hair tie.
Okay, cool. I have 2.
Okay, you may not be able to stretch the other one as far, but we'll see. So what you do is you place this one on the index and middle finger like that, okay? And you don't have to do the other rubber band, but I'm going to do that one just because it looks cooler to tie the fingers up like that, okay? But you don't have to do that part. Now watch what you do. You take the index finger of the other hand and you pull that elastic band down over your palm like this. You then put your pinky inside the loop, your ring finger, the middle finger, and index finger inside the loop, and just let it rest on your fingernails just like that, and don't do anything yet. Then all you do is you show them this side of it. This is what you're looking at. This is this side. And all you have to do is open your hand, and when you open your hand, it ends up on the other side. Now let me show you going back. You pull it down, put your fingers inside, let it rest on your fingertips, and when you obviously you don't show them that side, but when you open your hand, it jumps over like that. And what it's actually doing is just this. It's going either side like that, which is kind of weird, because even when you know how it's done, you're like, how is it doing it? So that's all you have to do. Pull it down, put your fingers inside, get the loop. And then when I show them this, there's 2 things I do. Number 1, I click, because it sounds way more magical. Watch. See? And the other thing sometimes is to do this. Watch. Just wave my hand in front, and it looks really, really cool. So that is the jumping rubber. How'd you get on, Megan? Did you get it?
I did it.
Excellent. Good, good, good. I'm glad. That's
Me
wonderful.
too.
That is the jumping rubber band trick. If you guys want to try that at home, I'd love for that to happen. I'm going to show you one more elastic band one. This is more for you guys. I'm going to place this one inside the, well, between the finger and thumb here. Now I'm going to keep it stretched. And obviously, if I was to remove my finger or thumb, it's going to ping off. So I've got to keep it stretched. I'm going to kind of come in here so you can see nice and close. I'm going to place this one inside this one like that. So now they kind of, see that they're kind of locked in place. They can't get out there or over my thumb. But watch where they join. I'll get nice and close here. Keep your eye on that join. Watch. And they just melt through one another just like that. And most of the times when I do that, people think there's a hole in the elastic band. And you know what? They're actually right. It's right there in the middle, big hole, see? No, but actually there's a smaller hole you can find. If you find it and get it in the right place like this, and you can pull it apart, squeeze it, and put it right back together again. So there you go, some rubber band magic to try at home. There you go. Now I want to try one more with you. Hopefully whoever's there, if you are still with me, make yourself known. We know we've got Megan, Taylor's here, Ryan's here. Frankie, are you still there or not? No, Yolanda, are you here?
I am here.
Excellent. Okay, like we'll come back to you in a minute, Yolanda. Okay, great. I'm just happy to know someone's out there. So now look, my mom is a firm believer of fate. She believes that everything in our life has already been written and we're just kind of passengers on this journey. So I want to kind of test that theory right now. So she'd always say to me, actually, she went, oh, it's written in the card. It's written in the cards. So I've got a deck of cards and we're going to come up with a prediction and we're going to see if the cards have already predetermined what we're going to do. So what we're going to pick is a playing card, one of 52 different playing cards. And I could just ask one of you to pick a card, but that could be, you may think someone's in on this, or it may just be a less random. So we're going to make sure we make it extremely random. And we'll start with you, Yolanda. You're going to get the first choice here. What we're going to do, I'm just going to ask you one question. You're going to get to pick one of two things, and that's going to give us, well, it's going to get rid of half of the deck, okay? So you can either have red cards or black cards, whichever one you pick is the one we are going to use. So Yolanda, would you, and you make sure you keep an eye on this, these are going to be right here. Yolanda, would you like red cards or would you like black cards?
I would like the red cards.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% sure.
Okay, do you feel that that is that has already been in your head before we started, or is that something that just came to you?
No, that was in my head.
Okay, so maybe that was predetermined. We don't know, but you went for red. So we're going to stick with red. That gives us the two suits, hearts and diamonds. Ryan, would you jump in here? You're going to get the choice. You can either have hearts or diamonds.
I would like hearts.
Now, I'm going to give you a chance to change your mind, Ryan, because hearts is what came to you. Now, we obviously trying to disprove that, something is set up ahead of this. If you want to keep, you need to know that you can change your mind if you want. If you have the free choice, if you wanted to switch to diamonds, or you can stick with hearts.
Okay, I'll switch to diamonds.
Ooh, the drama. Diamonds, okay. All right, so he had a free will to change his mind. He went for diamonds, okay? And finally, Megan, we'll get to you. Megan, that gives us 13 different diamonds, okay? Actually, we'll do this in two parts. 13 different diamonds, ace through 7, and then 8 through king. So ace through 7 would be low, 8 through king would be high. Would you like the low cards or the high cards?
Hi.
High cards, so that's 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king, okay? You want to keep that or you want to change your mind?
No, I'm going to keep it.
Keep it. Fantastic. 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. Taylor, you get the final choice. Imagine those cards right here. 8, 9, 10, jack, queen, king. Taylor, which of those diamonds would you like?
10.
Sorry, the 10?
Yes.
Okay. And would you like to change your mind?
No.
Okay. So that brings us to the 10 of diamonds, our prediction. Now, if you have a look, the cards have been here the whole time. Now, I personally believe that we write our own destinies. I believe that everything's happened to us is we do ourselves. And let me show you these. And I believe every day we start with a blank slate, just like these cards. Well, these cards are blank apart from 3. Let me show you. They're right here. These are kind of a form of instruction cards. Let me show you what they say. So hopefully you've been reading these as we go. And then this is the final pile right here. So as we've seen, these cards did not predict our future. They did not know what we were going to do. If I put these in the right order, your card is the. See, if these didn't know our fate, that means we're in charge of our own fate. And we picked the 10 of diamonds as a group. And it's only when you decide on your future, which is when it becomes written.
I'm really loving this.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Guys, that's about all I got time for the magic, unfortunately. But I don't know, Ryan, if we've got any more time for any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah. If anybody else has any questions right now, we can jump to that. Or I'd really love to know, Scott, just to maybe kick that off, what has COVID-19 done to your magic show? Or have you had to learn how to use Zoom to be a magician again? Or?
I'll be absolutely honest, this has been my first Zoom show. So thank you for letting me be a part of this. No, Zoom shows were becoming a thing, but it was a lot of, actually, I mean, I won't lie, to get this set up, as you can see, we got, like, I made sure we had all these different camera angles, and just doing that kind of stuff, it was a big move in one direction. And to be honest, I mean, I will go that route now, but I was more concentrating on the theater and how we could expand and like start writing new things. So when I was working the show, it was a full-time gig and I just didn't have time to be creative as an artist anymore. And to be honest, these last 3 months, I've had so much fun writing new things, writing new tricks, writing new routines. That tic-tac-toe thing you saw, that was brand new. That's going in our new show. So there's so many things I've just been excited now about redoing. So essentially, yes, COVID killed our show. It really did. We were closed. Nothing really has much been going on here. I'm just kind of preparing for when we reopen now, which hopefully in the next few weeks, maybe a month or so. But other than that, I've just, as I said, gone back to being an artist instead of just a businessman, and being able to really kind of focus on the magic and the entertainment. And actually the new show that I'm writing doesn't even include me. It includes other magicians. So it's going to be a show that I'm very proud of because I've written and directed it. And the magicians are guys that have been with me for over a year now at the agency, and they've worked their way up and they're ready now to do their thing. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's exciting. And then if somebody wants to go to your show, what's the best way to get tickets normally?
Well, one, I'm telling you that, I'll show you this is about a 1-minute video just to show you a good idea. If you've never seen what I did, this is some of the stuff we do or did in the show anyway. But no, you can go to our website, magiciansagency.com. Hopefully, actually, I may be performing more around the San Antonio area as now. We've been talking to a few people about doing outdoor shows like Frankie was talking about, shows with, more space because, it is a little bit difficult in our theater. It's kind of small and enclosed. So really until COVID starts the day off a little bit, it's going to be doing other things. But yeah, these are some of the things I've done in the past. This is SAEW, actually, KSAT 12 have been wonderful. They have me on there. This is one we did in the show every single night, the same as the levitation. I said the new show will be a little bit different. But yeah, magiciansagency.com. We have a Facebook page, Instagram, of course. Yeah, you can check us out on there. And it's very easy to find me. I live right here in San Antonio, as I said. We're right opposite the Alamo. So if you're ever by and you want to give me a call and come visit the place, you're more than welcome.
Awesome. Are there any questions again in the chat or otherwise?
I do have a really quick question. Do you think that you would be able to do like a 15 to 20 minute, maybe even 30-minute, like online Zoom call, interactive magic show? Like a little more interactive than even what this was?
How do you mean? I mean, yeah, like in what sense? I mean, like where people are like, I don't know, touching things or?
No, just like we do like a trivia night once a week, and I mean that's cool and all, but this is like really cool. So if you had like maybe 5 to 10 different tricks that you think you would be able to do online.
So I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, obviously I'm never going to say no to work, but these kind of things I did here are kind of the most interactive ones because it involves everyone and multiple people per trick. But yeah, it's absolutely possible, and we can do the whole show like over Zoom. One other thing to just, if you're ever looking at things like team building or anything like that, I do a workshop, which is a lot of fun. So like the little rubber band trick I did, we do this thing where we send you out a box, and the box is full of things like rubber bands, playing cards, scissors, glue, and we teach you how to make your own tricks and then perform them for people as well. So that's a lot of fun. And that's a 1 hour workshop, but it can be kind of tailored to anything you need. But yes, absolutely possible.
Perfect. So I have a lot of people in the event industry that are looking for something different like this to be able to do over online. And so that one that you just mentioned might be pretty cool to be able to send out those for like little team meetings online, maybe.
Yeah, it's actually, you can, if you go to the website, again, it's called Make Your Own Magic, and it's
Okay.
you get the box of things, and then you can have as many people on the call as you want. It's it's a fun experience.
Okay, cool.
Really
I will
something
definitely think
new.
of that.
It was one of those things we came up with during COVID. So
Awesome. Yeah, I like that. Thank you so much.
no worries, Megan.
Other questions?
All right.
Going once, going twice. I guess that's it. Yeah, that's a wrap. So Scott, I really appreciate you taking the time and not only sharing your story of passion, but also sharing a little bit of magic with us, and ideally maybe uplifting a few spirits, if not today, then tomorrow or sometime during COVID, right? And then Megan and Frankie, I just want to say it was a pleasure to have you both on and learn more about you and be able to have the opportunity to share what really drives both of you with our audience as well, as we're focused on bringing entrepreneurs together and showing that they're not alone. I think y'all kind of surprisingly, the three of y'all together come with some amazing creativity, which a lot of entrepreneurs, they think it's really hard to commingle business and creativity, but y'all have been able to do it. So I just want to say thank you again. It really means a lot, and I appreciate you all spending the time with us.
Well, thanks for inviting us, Ryan.
Awesome. Well, at this point, yeah, if nothing else, there we go.